Almost every week we hear about how more young people are embracing socialism. The goal of our guide is to help you respond to some of these most common questions you think you'll hear from your kids and grandkids when they come home from college with these wonderful socialistic ideas. Socialism, democratic socialism, or whatever it's going to be called by these days, is about government control. The government control of healthcare, of education, and sometimes actually of industry and actual production. Free market supporters believe in the freedom to choose your doctor, the freedom to start a business, the freedom to succeed and fail. Let's dive into the top 5 questions. The number 1 question sent in was, what's wrong with socialized medicine? Why can't we be more like the Nordic countries? When you confront socialism with a textbook example of it, like Venezuela, with nationalized industries and government control of every part of life, many socialists will push back with examples of the wonders of socialism in the Nordic countries. Here's a clip you can share from the president of Denmark a couple of years ago at Harvard.
I know that some people in the US associate the Nordic model with some sort of socialism. Therefore, I would like to make one thing clear. Denmark is far from a socialist planned economy. Denmark is a market economy. So what is the catch, you could ask? And the most obvious one is, of course, the high taxes. The top income tax in Denmark is almost 60%. We have a 25% sales tax. And on cars, the excise duties is up to 180%.
The free stuff, quote unquote, that government offers comes with a price. Denmark's 56% and Sweden's 50% income tax rates are the highest in the world. And that's not including their high sales tax. Of course, we already have government control of healthcare in the United States. The terms socialized medicine, public option, single payer are all code words for government takeover of healthcare. Now, if we position in terms of the government running our healthcare, what does that look like now? The government runs the military's healthcare system. You have very, very little choice. Secondly, it runs the Veterans Administration Hospital. We know the scandals that have occurred in hospitals around the country of people waiting long time, some actually dying while they're waiting. And the third thing that the government runs is the Indian healthcare system. You don't hear about too many jets flying in from foreign countries to land on a reservation to have a heart valve replaced. So why would we want to emulate the lack of accessibility, the lack of choice, the lack of quality by moving more of our healthcare system to the government-run system? A 2018 Gallup poll reveals 77% of Americans rate the quality of their healthcare as excellent or good. Their central complaint? The expense. Our broken healthcare system is a result of what many call crony capitalism, the massive hospital cartel which is largely against price transparency, which is the first step to reducing costs. In almost every other sector of the economy, when you allow the free market to work, prices drop and access improves and quality improves. The next question will hit close to home if you have students who are taking on student loans or paying them back. Why can't college be free? Ask your young socialist, why is college so expensive? Look no further than the government. The government's involvement in the student loan business has given colleges an unlimited increase in tuition because government-backed loans match a certain percentage of whatever tuition is set at. The current system is socialistic. A free market approach would force colleges to compete for students with competitive tuitions in innovative programs, driving down the cost of tuition. For many young people, college isn't the best solution. Trade schools, vocational training, and other alternatives are market-based alternatives that match you with a vocation that's in demand. It's not just welders, but there's nurses, coders who don't need to go to college. The other question is, who's going to pay for all this free education? Free education. The millions of Americans who save up to send their kids to school, or the 72% of Americans with no college degree? Let's take a look at the national debt clock. I find it's easier to look at this large number of taking away all the zeros, take away 8 zeros, and comparing it to a family budget. Remove 8 zeros from the government numbers. A family has an income, if we do that, of $35,000. But every year the family expenses are $47,000. And the family credit card already is $240,000. Now, why? Your kids are going to understand you just can't dump a whole bunch of additional expenses on top of that balance sheet. The wealth of our nation lies in the private sector. Now, there's lots of questions about taxes, income inequality, and billionaires. The general theme was the rich have become too rich and we need to tax them more. The best way to help your young socialists understand our perspective is with a short story. Imagine 10 people live on an island. Each day they wake up, catch 2 fish, and eat them. There are no savings, no stored wealth. Now, if someone gets sick and can't fish, there's no way to help them. Now let's imagine 2 of these people dream up a boat and a net. They spend 6 days catching 1 fish, and after they caught that fish, they go back home and start building a boat. Slowly starting, but they're working on that boat and net, a sacrifice to accomplish this dream. On the 7th day, they go out into the ocean, and wow, they catch 20 fish in the net. It worked. Since 2 people now produce what previously took 10, resources are freed up to do other things. Some of those people can farm corn, they can make shoes, they can pick coconuts, they can help repair the boat and the net, they can thatch your roof. The island ends up with more and better food, new technologies, more assets, more wealth, and they can now afford to take care of their sick. Now here comes socialism. It seeks to punish the 2 fishers, who now produce 10 fish per day, while others had only produced 2. Income equality now exists. It's no longer 1-to-1, it's 5-to-1. So they devised a tax of 80% of the boaters, of 16 fish, and redistribute those 2 fish to each of the other inhabitants. Under socialism, no one is better off. Each inhabitant still only has 2 fish. Moreover, the entrepreneurs have no incentive to fix their boat and net. This is the problem with taxation for redistribution. It robs the economy of the benefits of new technology. Everyone in the island is better off because of the boat and the net. The income inequality that exists on the island is a sign of more opportunity, not less. Why should we punish our more successful people, many who came from nothing? What about the $410 billion of philanthropy in 2015 alone? Take your grandkids a tour of their college campus and show the science lab that is given by one wealthy person, or a dormitory given by another, or the 37% of income taxes the top 1% pay. Everyone says, well, socialism provided this, it provided that, the police force, the roads. The money came from the people in the free enterprise system who paid to the government, who then had the money to build those. It seems that many young people think that being pro-free markets is incompatible with being a caring person, and especially with being a Christian. Now, our top final question is along those lines. The reason that capitalism has done so well in America is because it was married to the Judeo-Christian values. Without these values, you would witness greed and envy on either end of the economic spectrum. Now let's take Adam Smith, who said, if you aggressively pursue your needs, you will fulfill the needs of others. The shoemaker, the candle maker, all worked hard to provide products aggressively so they could get money to pay for the things they wanted to buy. So Jesus came along and said, if you aggressively pursue the needs of others, you will be fulfilled. And so the marriage of Christianity with capitalism is what made America a special place. The fact is that government is not being kind and caring when it gives out free stuff. It keeps people on a plantation. The government has nothing to give. Every single thing it has, it's taken from someone to give to someone else. Free markets and free individuals connected with Judeo-Christian values are the best way to help those in need. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions. We hope that our guide can help in your discussion with your family and friends. Happy Thanksgiving from this very grateful boomer who loves freedom.